All right, so we are going to do an update for what my favorites list are. I do have a video where I ranked every anime and manga that I've ever read or watched, but today we're just doing for the last couple months. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting any anime, or I might have forgotten a couple movies. Not sure. We will see. So we're starting on the top of the list here with my favorite animes. Bungo Stray Dogs is my absolute favorite. I'm sorry. It's essentially the main reason it is my favorite anime of all time currently is just for the premise. You have detectives with supernatural powers, special abilities, you have the mafia. If you have those two elements, I'm going to love it. If you haven't read the Dresden Files yet, please do. Next we have Death Note. Listen, my favorites list fluctuates in order. Bungo Stray Dogs is a confirmed number one. Death Note pops around, like everything between 2 to 9 is going to pretty much just be fluctuating. They're all equal. I love them. But Death Note is my comfort anime. I watched it twice a year, every single year from, I think it was like grade 6 or 7 all the way into graduate school, right around exam time. This is what I would watch to de-stress, and this is bad comfort anime to have, I'm realizing, because it brought me more stress. But I love Death Note, okay? It has been around forever for me. The nostalgia is too strong. One Piece needs no introduction for why it's incredible. This is just an incredible story. Naruto, we'll see if it remains below One Piece once I actually restart it and finish it. I have watched up to the Five Kage Summit recently, and everything after that is kind of sporadic in my childhood, a mix of anime and manga, and I really just need to start the entire series and go through it, all of it. Parasite is flawless. I binged this, and I feel like I've forgotten half of it because it was so good and I binged it so quickly. I love Parasite. Let's call them aliens, and they go and they're trying to take over the world, and now we have a symbiotic relationship with one because they weren't able to eat the brain. It's taken over an arm, and they both just want to survive. It's great. I love it. Full Metal Alchemist, another one that needs no introduction. You could say this is the greatest anime, greatest TV show, greatest piece of medium ever made, and no one can really argue with you. It is so good on so many levels. I love Full Metal. Perfect Blue is a work of art. If it will never leave my favorites list. The horror elements, the stalker elements, the psychosis, the breaking of reality, the film, the imagery in Perfect Blue is an honest to God work of art. There is no other way to describe it. Chainsaw Man has no damn right being as good as it is. My God. When you set up the premise of Chainsaw Man and then the first like introduction of Genji, and you're just like, oh, he's just a teenage kid who wants to touch boobs. It's overpowered characters. It's a lot of blood and guts and violence. No, it is emotional depth and developing connections and examining those connections and the importance of connections and relationships, whether that is personal or romantic or family. And part 2 is better than part 1. And how is that even possible? Seriously, Chainsaw Man has no right to be as good as it is. I was not expecting it. Blown away. One of my favorite anime of all time. Baccano. I can tell you nothing about this. It involves a train. Everything else is a spoiler. Watch Baccano. I think my only disappointment is I started another series because it was from the creators of Baccano, and it's not as good as Baccano. I got the first light novel. I will be reading the rest of them eventually. I just haven't got around to it yet. I have no time. Inuyasha has to stay in my top 10, okay? It is the first anime I knew was an anime, and the nostalgia is too strong. The chokehold these characters have on me, and I did rewatch it in grad school, and it held up very well, okay? It has to stay in my top 10. I have no say in that. All right. However, we have some new members of my favorite animes of all time because, oh, I've watched so many good animes recently. Where are we starting? We are starting with Film Z of One Piece. This is a really good one. I like the character Z. I like what he represented. I like how the story went. It's up there for a very strong One Piece movie. I did rank them when I talked about it, but I don't feel like it's going to go all the way up into loved it. I think it's going to stay at the top of good. It is genuinely a really good movie. The themes are great. The characters are great. And If it wasn't for the fact that there are spoilers for later in the series, I would strongly recommend it as an introduction to One Piece to get people hooked, like show them this movie. And I feel that the spoilers that are in it are minimal enough that I'd be like, just do it. Just start here if you need to get someone hooked. Attack on Titan, I have already seen seasons 1 and 2, but I have now rewatched season 1. And do I put it in loved it? Not yet. I know I just said Film Z would probably be at the top of good, but I think I gotta put season 1 of Attack on Titan above that. My main issue being I don't like the main character, okay? I don't like the angry, hyped on revenge character. There's a reason I hated Sasuke all my childhood. I feel like he's going to grow on me with time, but it's not an entertaining watch. I like the side characters a lot more. I like how death is looming around every corner. I love the action. I love the fight scenes. I love the choreography. So there are many things I love about Attack on Titan. The setup of it just was not to my liking. Then eventually I did get hooked, and then I binged it. But I can't fully commit to saying I love it. Not yet. Maybe season 2. But I honestly forget everything I know about season 2. Alright. Death Parade is next. How do I feel about Death Parade? Oh, I have so many mixed feelings, because some of the episodes I absolutely loved, and other ones not so much. The concept is really simple. 2 characters recently deceased end up at a bar. They have to play a game, and the outcome of and how they act in that game will be decided by our lovely bartender and his assistant on whether or not they go to quote-unquote heaven and hell / reincarnation / the void. And there are so many elements of this series that I love. I love the concept. I love the concept. There are elements of the execution I didn't like. I like the world. I like the characters. It felt a little repetitive, though, at times. Oh, the ending, though. Oh, the ending was so good. It left me with so many questions. I think this would be a good one to, like, watch with people and talk about it with them and theorize. And I gotta put loved it. This concept is incredible. I like the characters. I like the examination of the human soul and personality and what is right and wrong and how people react to different situations and the consequences of them. Like, I don't want to go into spoilers for this talk. But no, I gotta say loved it. I gotta say I loved it. Alright, Princess Mononosuke. How do we feel about this? It's obviously loved, but is it higher than Death Parade? Work at the art, Studio Ghibli. I can't not have it high. Come on, I'm sorry. I do enjoy Death Parade, but not Studio Ghibli. Come on. What do I love about it? It is slow. It is definitely a slow story, the pacing. But that's intentional. Because again, work of art. You have to put in time for the cinematography, I guess. The animation, the art style, everything to breathe. The focus on nature. And oh my god, the characters. One of my favorite characters just of all time. Whose name, obviously, I have not learned yet. Lady Eboshi, that's what it is. And, oh god, I love this one. She's a complicated character, to say without spoilers. And between Princess Mononosuke and the main guy character, I'm really bad with names, okay? The idea of just wanting to help people and not to fight, but be willing to fight if you have to, and using one's voice and the balance between nature and industrialization and progress, but environmental impacts. It is wonderful. It's also a bloody movie. I was not expecting that for Studio Ghibli. I really love this one. However, it is not My Neighbor Totoro. It is up in my favorites immediately. Gotta be above Inuyasha. Above Bakuno. Tied with Chainsaw Man, but I'm putting it above. I know I said Inuyasha got to stay in my top 10. Like, what I meant was in my favorites list. So there might be more than 10 in my favorites. And I will be selective of what's going in my favorites, but My Neighbor Totoro deserves that spot. I ugly cried when the bus's, like, location changed and flipped to take a character to a location, and it said where they were going. I cried my heart out. Oh my god, this hurts me. I love this movie. It is, again, work of art, but Studio Ghibli, I can't. Obviously, it's a work of art. Ghibli or Ghibli? Ghibli. Ghibli? I think both are right. I can't even express My Neighbor Totoro, this sweet little family, and these young girls who have no right. They should not be unsupervised playing out in the field. I get we're a long time ago, and I probably had not that much supervision as a kid, but they should not be unsupervised like this, just running out in the field while dad's doing his work. Mom is sick in the hospital. They are in this new location. They're getting everything cleaned up and renovations, and they find this spirit of the forest, god of the forest, and make friends with him. And it is just a wholesome, sweet movie that then takes a turn that leads to me crying my eyes out. And I love My Neighbor Totoro. I want to rewatch it. I gotta rewatch this. And then we got another banger right at the gate. Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho. To the people who told me to watch Mob Psycho, thank you. Because my second favorite anime of all times, it's Mob Psycho. It is flawless. The execution of this story could not be done better. A friend of mine, because I'm trying to get all my coworkers into anime. I'm failing a little bit, but I'm also succeeding in some. He was saying, like, what's this story about? I'm like, that's a good question. And the plot is irrelevant. The main focus on Ma being the sweetest boy and the impact he has on others to make them change and grow as individuals, how he is an overpowered character done completely right. The most powerful psychic in the world, but he doesn't want to rely on his psychic abilities and instead focus internally on making himself stronger, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, and the impact he has on others. It is such a good, heartfelt story. Reagan is one of my favorite characters of all time. This con man psychic who has a heart of pure gold. And then the series makes me hate him and love him immediately after. I am obsessed with Mob Psycho. I'm only 2 seasons in. I don't understand how it could possibly get any better or how the series could go from here, but there's a 3rd season that I'm looking forward to finding out how. So good. Love Mob Psycho. All right. Hunter x Hunter. I went from a high to a kind of a meh. So I do like Hunter x Hunter. I really, 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 really like the characters. I really like the powers. I'm not the greatest fan of some of the plot elements that has happened, but I am a huge, huge hatred I have of narrators. The only narrator that has ever worked for me is the one in Mob Psycho, because he's barely there, and it's Mob Psycho, because every word is brilliant. Back to Hunter x Hunter. The fact that the narrator took my favorite arc that was developing of the Chimera Ant arc into probably going to be my least favorite arc shows like how much I just hate narrators, okay? When they show up, they usually ruin a series for me. And I physically couldn't watch the anime. I had to switch to the manga, so I didn't have the narrator's voice in my ears. And they're still in the manga. Okay, I don't know if I can drop it all the way down to okay, though. Is it at least... I gotta give it at least good. The focus is not overly where I want it right now. I'm not a big fan of the relationship between Gon and his father, and the ideas of he set off on this journey to become a hunter because being a hunter was what caused his father to leave the family. And he's not so much angry at his father or anything like that, or trying to follow in his footsteps either. He just wants to see what being a hunter was that was worth leaving one's family for, and wanting to speak and find his father. And I didn't ever feel like a strong connection with that goal, or if and when that goal gets achieved, just the fallout from it did not emotionally resonate with me. I wish I loved this more than I did. I love Killua, him and his family dynamics. Oh my god, yes. Kurapika is one of my favorite characters just in anime. Love him. Love the focus on him and his story. I really need him to come back into the story, and I feel like he is. But I definitely love the side characters' interests and investments and goals more than our protagonist. That being said, I do love Gon. That sweet, sweet, sweet boy, but selfish. Yeah, I do like I do like what we're doing with him as a character, though. Again, sweet darling angel, but incredibly selfish, willing to hurt others and suffer, and not really caring about what's right and wrong if it is understandable, if it's for one's friends. Like, he's friends with a killer, but he has issues with other people being killed meaninglessly. He's okay with one so long as you're putting your own life on the line. You choose to be here. Doesn't see the harm in things. I think okay. I've talked myself up above Film Z, but I think the execution of what Attack on Titan is trying to be worked better than what Hunter x Hunter is trying to be. Yeah, I can't put it above Attack on Titan, not currently. So I've seen up to like the chairman election in Hunter x Hunter, and I've only seen the first season really of Attack on Titan right now. All right, what's the next one? Stampede. It was okay. It's a One Piece movie with a lot of character cameos and a lot of hype action, and I wish it had a plot attached to it that I could enjoy. A lot of cameos. I don't need to talk more about that. It is a fun time. If you've seen this in theaters, it'd be an adrenaline rush. But that's what I'm getting from Stampede. Oh my god, Apothecary Diaries. Where do I put you? It's in favorites. Just where in favorites? I love you, Inuyasha, but you're here because of nostalgia. Oh my god, I can't put you above Perfect Blue, but I can put you above My Neighbor Totoro, I think. Oh my god, this anime took me away. I was not expecting to love this. I watched the original trailer when it was announced, and I'm like, okay, guy and girl, romance, probably, in like feudal kind of China, harem. You know what? She's also obsessed with poison and likes consuming and eating poison. I don't think this is my vibe. Probably the harem element was kind of throwing me off. This is the greatest anime that I'm probably going to have watched this year. It is so good. And I was so surprised because it does not focus where you think the focus is going to be. The focus on women in this time frame and the lack of power and agency that they have and having to take control and protect themselves in whatever ways they can, whether that be those in the harem who are trying to use this political marriage to help those back home in their home countries, but also not being able to leave and find their own love, or wanting to leave so they can be with someone they love. The focus on courtesans who are essentially prostitutes and their role in society, the risk they take, but then how if you're in difference between like the higher ranking ones versus the lower ranking ones. And the focus of this is always in the lack of control and trying to have control where you can. I'm trying not to give spoilers. Momo is an absolutely adorable, hilarious, smart, fantastic Sherlock Holmes-ish character. She is brilliant. She's an apothecary, and whenever she can, she is protecting the women around her because she knows what it's like to be weak, to be vulnerable. She has been kidnapped and sold off to the palace. And her kidnappers make money, take parts of her earnings as given to the kidnappers. Because that is the way this society is. People in the palace know people have been kidnapped, said that, hey, this is my family member that I'm selling to the palace. They know they're not family. They know they've been kidnapped, but they don't care. The role and rank in society being the focus, oh my god, the Apothecary Diaries is fantastic. It's very episodic at first as Momo gets herself in a position accidentally because she can't just keep her mouth shut or her inquisitive nature in check. Gets put in a position where people are coming to her for information on different poisons, different deaths, different situations that occur, and she's trying to solve it because she just wants to solve the puzzle. And again, it's just crime, solve the crime, and it's very episodic. But then this overarching story starts to emerge that I'm hoping will continue into season 2, because really was only really put all together that there is a plot in the last episode. All the characters, all of them are incredible. Every single character. I love this anime. Oh my god, so many good ones! Frieren! Okay, Frieren and Apothecary Diaries are tied. I love them equally, in equal amounts. You will not make me choose a favorite because I love them for different reasons. I love the characters and themes and everything in the Apothecary Diaries, but Frieren is the most perfect execution of themes I've ever seen. Frieren is an elf who has gone on an epic journey to defeat the Demon King with her party, and Himmel the hero, who is the sweetest boy in the world, and he has done nothing wrong in his entire life. If he's ever suffered a moment of sadness or grief, I will be heartbroken, and he probably has, because I'm requited love, right person, wrong time kind of thing, and is beautiful, and I love him. So she's going to outlive everyone around her because an elf has a longer time frame. So this series picks up after they have defeated the Demon King, and the people around her in her original party are dying off just from old age. And she's so upset that she didn't make connections with them, and she wants to go along the journey that they had taken, reform and learn more about humanity and the connections. And it's her learning to like appreciate people's time, the time frames of humans, the importance of connections. She's creating new bonds, understanding the bonds that she does have, and wishing to, too close to spoilers, but the other name of this pretty much tells you what she wants to accomplish. And I normally don't appreciate really a really slow, meandering plot line, but in this one it works so well because the purpose is not the destination, it is the journey. And to see her follow through this journey and take those meandering paths to do these little side quests that don't seem to have relevance to the plot, only to realize it is developing the characters, it makes it all worth it and execute it so flawlessly. And then, of course, you can't have an anime without a tournament arc, and I love it. There's this girl, and she's a complete psychopath, and the guy with the glasses, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it to see it, everything unfold. And the last one, oh, yes, wonderful. And then the last episode will just feel like that is so sweet and sad, and I love it. And I can't wait to continue this. I'm going to be too impatient to wait for the next season. I'm going to have to buy the manga soon. I just don't have room in my apartment for it. So I'm literally considering moving up my time frame of buying a house just so I can have room to store my more manga, because I can't even buy regular books. I'm at a room in this apartment. Oh, this one's... Alright. The Delicious in Dungeons one. Not for me, okay? I know I tried, a couple people had convinced me in the video where I was reviewing this, should I continue on? And I did. I continued on for a few more episodes. This one is just not for me. The tone is all over the place, and it is just not a tone that's for me. So the premise I was so looking forward to is just this group of adventurers going into a dungeons and hunting monsters and cooking them. I was looking for this nice, cute, lighthearted, funny comedy tone with delicious food, and that is what this is. Except you have the main character's sister has been eaten by a dragon, so they have to get to the bottom before she's digested and to bring her back and save her. So I'm like, why would you create what it just wants to be? Because the rest of the series is this cute, lighthearted, funny series. So why would you open it with this tone of anxious anxiety, gotta get to her as soon as possible, something very bad has just happened, and then go, tee-hee, I'm eating a walking mushroom. The tone, the clashing of the tones just did not work for me. And the pacing that they were going on was so leisurely. It's just like, oh, let's stop. I need to get some gardening done. Or, oh, let's spend an entire day trying to get this specific screaming baby plant thing out of the ground and different ways to do it. I get why it continued in this pace because you can't charge through. That's fine. But it would make more sense to me and the themes of it if at least at first they tried to charge through. Try to charge through because we have to get to sister as soon as possible. Realize quickly that that is a terrible idea, as you can't rush through this dungeon. You have to have balanced nutrition. You can't just grab as you go and hope for the best. And then maybe slow down too much and realize they were wasting too much time getting everything perfect to find that balance. Balance is a very big theme as the focus on ecosystems appear. Different monsters and hunters in a symbiotic-ish relationship where they're trying to exist in balance. If the hunters get too aggressive, then that throws the ecosystem out of whack, which means they can't really venture down further because it's going to cause chaos. But also the other monsters will come up to the surface looking for food if adventurers like killed off all the weaker monsters. And if they ever get out of the dungeons, that sends more adventurers in. So it's really finding this balance and harmony. What I do love is the lore of this world between the elves, the kings, the curse on the dungeon, except for the fact that there's a curse on the dungeon that makes the stakes be absolute zero because your soul, if you die, gets held in the dungeon, which you can then just resurrect whoever has died, and it's kind of driving me crazy. There are zero stakes to this. And some stuff happened, I think it was around episode 8 with the Kelpie, that I'm like, you know what, okay. I've gotten past the weird tone between, oh no, something traumatic happened, but now we're just goofing off. So I've gotten past that weird introduction tone, and I'm having fun with the goofing off. Sort of, the humor was never really landing for me. It was a lot of, hey, I want to eat this weird thing. Ew, gross, we're not eating that weird thing. Oh, this weird thing is delicious. It was a lot of that. Kind of repetitive, but it was okay. So I was getting into the vibe. I was getting into the mood. Probably around episode 7 or 8, we got like a Kelpie, and then the focus on ecosystems really started to be pushed to the forefront, and I'm enjoying it more. I'm getting more invested. And then we get really serious. I'm not going to give spoilers, but we are following through on some goals. And I'm like, okay, I'm invested again. We're taking things more serious. It's kind of making sense what's going on. And I think now we're going to continue on with this goal in mind. And the goal in mind does not match the tone. Again, because even one of the characters completely calls it out. He's like, I hate you so much because you're like, tee-hee, this happened. Trauma, trauma. Oh, but we ate this really cool thing. Did you want to try some? Like, why are you acting this way? And clearly, this is just like his special interest of hunting and eating monsters has taken over, that he's not really taking other things seriously. But the fact that this other character specifically called out what I have issues with, and it's how the characters are acting, it makes me think, keep in mind, the sister who's in danger, she's also the only character I actually like, and I only know of her through flashbacks. The other characters, I didn't even bother to learn their names yet because I just don't care about them, primarily because of how little consequences and concerns they had for sister the majority of the time, and I don't care about their interpersonal dynamic because it's just not interesting to me. So this one for sure is 1000% not for me, and I know a lot of people love this series and say it gets better and says they like the manga more. I just don't think the tone is for me. They clash in a way I do not like. The plot is not allowing for this goofy tone, this comedy low-stake vibe tone, but it's upsetting because I can't tell you how much I like the lore with the elves and the dungeons and the world. So I want to continue, but I just can't. This is not for me. All right, next is Solo Leveling. I wasn't expecting to like this one as much as I did. It's definitely good. Is it above Film Z? For the soundtrack of one fight scene, I have no choice but to raise it up above Film Z. No other reason. It's a dungeon clearing mission thing. You have people, they have powers, they are ranked S to E. He is very weak, but he is the only one who can level up, and he's getting stronger and completing quests and clearing dungeons, and there's a sweet rich boy, love him. I really don't have that much to say about Solo Leveling. It was entertaining, it was action-packed, it is what it wanted to be, and I think it's a good exploration and execution of what it wanted to be. Also the soundtrack. My god, it's brilliant. And then we have Berserk. This was already in my favorites from when I started it, and I hadn't even gotten that far into it at the time. Oh my god, the Lost Children arc. If I didn't love Golden Age as much as I did, the Lost Children arc would have put this in favorites anyway. Where do you go in favorites? I'm going to put you just under Chainsaw Man because I'm really loving part 2. I feel I really need to pick up Chainsaw Man again because I'm very far behind. I let it go long enough so I can binge a bunch, and I've let it go a while. But Berserk, by God, I love Berserk. Oh, it is everything I want. It is trauma, it is heartbreak, it is violence, it is, The exploration on the characters that are there. Guts needs a break and a hug, and that is all I can say about that. Puck is the sweetest little elf fairy thing. I love him. He's hilarious. He's adorable. His inclusion in this series is part of why I love it. The light in the darkness kind of vibes, and I'm so excited to continue. And I really can't say anything about Berserk without spoiling everything. What can I even say that's not a spoiler? It is an excellent examination of trauma and a trauma response. That is what this is. It will give you trauma, the characters are going through trauma, and it is a perfect execution on how you respond to trauma. On a less fun note, Spy Family Code White, that movie that just came out. It did not have the heart and soul of a Spy Family series that I had wanted. Of course, the characters are nice. The comedy works the majority of the time. I did laugh out loud a few times in theaters, but the plot felt very shallow to me. It was a lot of plot conveniences, and it really did. The plot felt forced. It's just the plot itself wasn't for me, which is a priority. Add on to that this is the first time I've heard the English voice actors for it, and while I'm sure they did a fantastic job, it was just jarring the first time I ever heard it compared to the Japanese voice actors. Not to mention, I'm primarily a manga reader for this one, and Anya's voice was grating on me, but that could be the fact that I don't like child characters a lot of the time. It was okay, it's just not for me. It was above Delicious in Dungeons. It probably technically could be in the okay slot, but not for me. It was more of a not for me. But I do love the original Spy Family series. Recommend that. It also would probably be a good introduction to the series for people who have not read the manga or watched the anime and they want to see if it's something that they enjoy. If they didn't want to watch like the first arc of the manga, you could just give them this movie to get the vibe. It would definitely show them the vibe, and you just tell them the main series is better in terms of plot and themes. Oh, we're ending on a high. I love film gold. So One Piece, I can't put in favorites. I'm gonna put it above Death Parade though. I love film gold. Okay, I love One Piece. I love casinos. I love heists. This was fantastic. It has one of my favorite devil fruits in the Luck Luck fruit, which obviously if you're in a casino, it's wonderful. All the characters felt like themselves. Their personalities came through wonderfully. The plot was brilliant. The backstories and flashbacks, I love them all. I had such a fun time with this movie. I don't think I really had any complaints. Luffy's a lovable idiot, and he's wonderful. It's Nami focused. I will love anything that's Nami focused. No complaints at all. Watch Film Gold. So there we have there. So let me just take a look and see. I don't think I want to change the order of anything. Like I said, Death Note kind of flips around. It's a lot of nostalgia, keeping it this high in the front, but I can't move it. It technically maybe should be down here, but I can't. It probably should be below. Yeah, technically it probably should be like above Bakuno, but I can't. The nostalgia is too strong. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this series. How many times this series has got me through like stressful times. One Piece is brilliant. Manga, not anime, specifying right there. No hate to anyone who likes the anime. Obviously, I just can't handle the pacing, but the manga, story, brilliant. Naruto, wonderful. Parasite. I wish I could have Full Metal Alchemist higher. I almost want to move Perfect Blue to be down below Frieren, but work of art, I can't do it. Yeah, no, that's fine for my favorites. I'm good. I'm good for loved. I'm good for good. And I'm happy with the not for me. So there we have there. I will talk to you later. Bye.